What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we are previewing the New York Jets against the Buffalo Bills. The New York Jets are 2-3, and they take on the 3-2 Buffalo Bills at home. And guess what? After all this nonsense through the first 5 weeks of the year, a coaching change, bad losses in back-to-back weeks, the offense being a problem, all those things, and the New York Jets could be in first place if they win this game. The Bills are 1.5-point favorites on the road. The point total is set at 41 points, so Vegas is expecting this to be a low-scoring game. You can get in on the action at BetUS with a 150% match deposit bonus with promo code YouTube150. Sign up using the link. They are the best sportsbook on the market, and they are powering this preview video. So the Bills got off to this unbelievable start to the year. They looked like the best team in the league through the first 3 weeks. The last two, not so much. They are now sitting at 3-2, and they scored just 10 points against the Ravens a couple weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, and then followed that up with just 20 points against the Houston Texans. And honestly, a big part of their struggles was over the last 2 weeks, Josh Allen hasn't looked like Josh Allen. He's completed just 42.4% of his passes and has thrown for 311 yards with a 65.0 passer rating. To me, like, the biggest thing with Josh Allen in the last game against the Texans, he was horrible. He was 9 of 30. I genuinely still don't know how he re-entered that game after he went into concussion protocol. He was apparently cleared by the doctors, by 3 different people, but like, he just did not look right. And it looked to me, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not claiming to be, I'm just saying, when he went down, he hit his head pretty hard and it looked like he was out. And then he comes back into this game. So I'm wondering if that's a factor going into this game against the New York Jets, how much that potential injury, even though again he's cleared, how much that ended up impacting him, and how much it might impact him in this game on Monday night. Now, against the Jets, he has 11 career starts and he has a really good record. He's 7-4 in those games. But over the last 2 years, the Jets have played really well against the Bills and against Josh Allen, and they're only 2-2. They've split each of the last 2 years, and I think we would all agree that this year's team is better than the one last year in 2023 and the one in 2022, despite their record only being 2-3. In his career, he has turned the ball over a ton against the Jets. He has 12 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 7 lost fumbles. That's 18 turnovers in 12 games. So the Jets defense, they've done a nice job of containing him. And again, relative to how he normally plays. Has he had good games against the Jets? Yes. Most of that has come, 2021 and earlier. But over the last 2 years, they played him really tight. Even the games that they won, that Buffalo won, maybe not so much up in Buffalo. They got their doors kicked in that one. So that was really ugly, a blowout loss. But the Mike White game up in Buffalo, that was a tight one. The Jets were in it all the way to the end, and Mike White was playing with like cracked ribs in that one. So we'll see if the Jets are able to keep this one tighter. Now, something that plays into the Jets' favor, I hope, is when you look at this Buffalo Bills team, they have been absolutely atrocious against the run this year. You think the Jets have been bad against the run? Well, look at the Buffalo Bills. They are allowing a league worst 5.2 yards per carry. 5.2 yards per carry. Now, the Jets rushing the ball have been abysmal at it all 5 games this year. Specifically the last 2, it has been completely non-existent. If there was ever a chance for Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, the Jets running back duo, to have a breakout game, it's this week. The Jets have to, no excuses, be better on the ground this week. And we could talk about Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. I'm not, they don't get a pass in this. They need to be better. But also, the Jets' offensive line has to be better this week. The first 3 weeks of the year, they were really good in pass protection. They were not good run blocking the first 3 weeks, but Aaron Rodgers was kept upright, and the Jets scored 3 offensive touchdowns a game in their first 3 games of the season. Since then, we know the story. It hasn't been good. They've been really bad in pass pro, and they've been really bad in run blocking, and the Jets have scored just 2 touchdowns in their last 2 games. That cannot happen against Buffalo if they want to win this game. No doubt the biggest story for the New York Jets, it is the first game that head coach Jeff Ulbrich will coach with the interim tag. I am excited to see his debut and what I want to see out of him in comparison to Robert Saleh. I want this team to be more aggressive. I think one of the downfalls of Robert Saleh is he was way too conservative as a head coach. And one of the other big ones, the word accountability has been said no less than 6,000 times this week between the players, fans, content creators, coaching staff, ownership, the whole thing. That needs to be seen, and they need to be much more disciplined. They cannot win. The last time the Jets were at home, they had 15 penalties. 13 accepted penalties. That cannot happen. You cannot play that way and expect to beat a team like the Buffalo Bills, who haven't looked right the last 2 weeks, but all that considered, you cannot give them extra opportunities to beat you. They need to be significantly more disciplined and more accountable for their actions. What my expectation is for this defense, I think they come out absolutely flying in this one. Monday night, home crowd, prime time, Ulbrich's debut. We've seen head coaches or we've seen teams who've made coaching changes come out and have an initial spark. And sometimes that spark lasts through the remainder of the season. Like you look at, Rich Bisaccia when he came in 2021 for the Raiders, they get hot, they make the playoffs. Antonio Pierce last year, they got hot. Now it didn't last all that long, but the initial change of the coaching staff usually provides a spark. I believe the number is 47% of teams who have changed coaches in season win their first game with their new head coach. And usually it's like really bad teams who are making coaching changes. So the fact that their winning percentage jumps up so much is likely a good sign, but I hope that's what we see this week. All right, let's get into stat predictions. No doubt about it. Aaron Rodgers has to be better this week. I think he is. I'm not going to predict a monster performance, but I'll go 19 of 30, a 63.3% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, no picks, and a 96 passer rating, which is a nice bounce back performance. Is it, oh my God, like a New England type of performance? No, but it's a much better performance than what he's put out the last 2 weeks. I'm going to do a combo prediction for the Jets' 2 running backs. I think Breece Hall and Braylon Allen combined for 25 rushing attempts, 115 yards, and a touchdown, which is significantly better than where they've been so far this year. I'm not going to say they're going to have a monster running game and go for almost 200 rushing yards and multiple touchdowns and average well over 5 yards a carry, but I think they will put up respectable numbers, which that would get us excited about the run game going forward. As for Josh Allen, I think his struggles continue against the Jets. I have him 18 of 30, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 78.5 passer rating, which would be yet another down performance. But again, as I mentioned, the Jets defense has done a really good job of turning him over, especially the last 2 years. They have come up huge in their home games in particular against Josh Allen. I think that's what happens again this week. Score prediction time. Against the spread, I've been horrible. 1-4, yuck, gross, disgusting. Straight up, a little bit better. I'm 3-2 with my predictions straight up this year. But anyway, with all that said, a reminder that the Jets are 1.5 point underdogs at home. I think the Jets do get that head coaching pop. I'm not saying that the Jets are the better team. I don't think they've looked better through the first 5 weeks of the year. In fact, I think Buffalo has. But I have the Jets winning 20-17, a very, very, very on-brand Jets-Bills game over the last couple of years. That's exactly how we've seen it. It's been low-scoring defensive battles between these two teams, and I think that's what we get on Monday night. And I think the team realizes how desperate they are. I think this is their wake-up call. And guess what? With all the nonsense that's went on, the Jets get to 3-3 and end up in first place in the division. Now, did they go on a run and be like, hey, they're still a 12-5 team, they only lose 2 more games the rest of the year? I'm not going that far, but at least in October, the Jets get this one. They get to 500, and the narrative surrounding this team begins to change a little bit. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are the Jets getting the dub this week in Jeff Ulbrich's first game? Let me know. Shout out BetUS for being the sponsor of the video. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I will catch you next time.